Hello, 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 and welcome to Birdwatch, great pop culture debates video series devoted to the looks of Drag Race UK Season 2. I'm your host, Eric Resniak, and today I'm joined by my very special guest judge, JP Sarmiento. Welcome, JP.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me.
JP, that we do on Facebook, and you can actually follow along with that by going to greatpopculturedebate.com and checking out the bonus section. And you can see how people are doing every week. But for now, we are here to toot, boot, shoot, poot, and moot the looks from episode 4 of UK2. The theme was Monster Mashup, and the queens had to create macabre monster hybrids. So we're going to jump right into it. First girl up, it's Veronica Green. What do you think, JP?
It's a toot for me. I think the giant wig, it's totally like amazing, and it fits her figure great. It's a beautiful dress. The one caveat, of course, is that it looks like a really cool Medusa thing with a pig face on it. Just kind of like slapped there just for jokes, but she's one of the few ones that actually managed to make it glamorous and kind of fun and campy. So yeah, it's a toot for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a toot for me. And I think the pig idea was interesting, but that's why it's not a shoot for me, is it wasn't quite a convincing prosthetic, but I never would have guessed this was Veronica when she came out. I thought it was really bold for her. The rest of it's kind of a throwaway, but I thought it was a bold look, so it's a toot for me. Next up, we had Sister as a mummy werewolf. What did you think, JP?
Boot, shoot, mute and throw into the trash with the rest of that toilet paper. This is tragic. It really is that sad kid from Halloween that just put a bunch of toilet paper around themselves. And because it's Drag Race, like, let's throw a few jewels. Also, like the werewolf thing is like, besides putting some jewels, let's put in a tail. It's just so... no, it doesn't work in any level. Yeah, and it was right to be on the bottom. Like it's really just disconjointed and not interesting at all.
Yeah, I'll boot it. I feel as though it's almost like a furry costume that has been gone to the plastic surgeon, but more work needs to be done. As they said, we've seen a bunch of mummies on this show. It's not interesting. It's not creative, and you got to bring more than that to YouTube for Drag Race at this point. Next up, we have Bimini Bombulash as Pamela Anderson / Adime, which to me seems redundant. But go ahead, JP. What did you think?
Agreed. I will say that even though I think that the critiques on the show were like accurate in the sense that it wasn't perfect, but it was so smart that I think it works. Like it's a two for me. Like the giant tits and the just ridiculous bunny made into like horns. It's just so smart that it's almost there. If she had gotten the details right, this would have been like an iconic look. Like this thing with like good Mormons, for example, beautiful.
So is that a toot for you?
It's a toot for me. Sorry, yes.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Toot for me, and I'm in the same exact page. This was almost there. I thought the idea was really clever, and one thing I realized about Bimini this week, she's really smart, and I think she has a very good cultural sense about her. And I feel like this was a deliberate read on Pamela Anderson and kind of celebrity culture. I thought, yeah, the slight little issues with the actual execution just held her back. Total two, and I'm really falling for Bimini now. Next up, it was Pace as the Bride of Frankenstein / Vampire. What did you think, JP?
So mute. I mean, it's a gorgeous dress. Taste is beautiful. It's a pretty wig, but it's just a very pretty dress. Like it doesn't. It's not interesting in any way. The mashup really doesn't happen because it's like great, but like throw a little bit of blood and I'm Dracula as well. It's like no, like I'm sorry, it doesn't do it. And she just seems more focused on just looking glamorous, which she succeeds in, than really making it creepy or fun.
So for you, this was a moot, you said?
Moot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to moot it too. And this goes back to what I said last week. Taste can do better. Taste needs to do better. She's a look queen. She's getting outplayed by almost every other queen on this stage right now. Yeah, a pair of fangs does not a monster mashup make. It just doesn't. So she's just not showing up to the game. Moot for me. Next up, it's Ginny Lemon as Toxic Waste Zombie Witch. I don't know what this is. Take a JP.
Yeah, she is Toxic Waste. She got that right. I mean, yes, and this should go exactly where Toxic Waste goes, into like a bucket that is then thrown into the middle of the ocean to then be forgotten forever. It looks like she just found this like piece of just like sad, ugly colored, ugly fabric, yeah, just spray painted crap on it and then just like threw it on, cutting it twice. I mean, it's just not. This is like bad for like a kid's Halloween costume, let alone Drag Race. So yeah, it's an absolute, again, boot shoot. Just put it in the middle of the ocean. Don't want to see it again. And yeah.
So if it's a particularly bad boot, we call it a poot. Would you poot this?
Poot?
Yes.
I have to confess that I was only aware of like 3 categories, like boot, moot, and toot. If there's like a poot, as in put it where Putin should be, I guess yes.
All right, he's pooting it. I'm gonna moot it, and that's mostly because I really like Ginny, and that's not fair, but here we are. There's not much to say except that I will give Ginny credit for this. Again, she was not doing her typical Ginny Lemon character, which I appreciate because I think it's really easy for her to fall back on that. But it's not great, so I'm just going to moot it. Next up, it's Lawrence Cheney, and I'm going to throw it to you. Lawrence Cheney in her Sweeney Todd Leatherface mashup.
I bet you that we're going to disagree on this one, but I think it's just okay. Yeah, I think the makeup is fantastic. She looks absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and the wig is amazing. If you actually try to be objective of what's going on the neck down, it's just a bunch of stuff put together. And that bunch of stuff has some really, really cool, interesting things. Like the mask was like amazing. The idea is clever, but it's not glamorous or interesting. So it's a mute for me. It's like good, but not spectacular.
I'm going to toot this one, and I'll explain why. I actually think she nailed the details. Where Bimini didn't, she did. Like, I didn't even realize that the blood spatters were rhinestoned until the judges pointed it out. But to me, like, that really elevated it in a way. And I do think that, like, the ear and the nipple and the hand sewn into the actual apron were really cool. To me, it was the other thing. Lawrence always is great at creating shapes. She's a curvy girl. She always looks sexy. And I think she nailed that here. This is both gory and beautiful. So, toot for me. Next up, it's Ellie Diamond as a troll werewolf. What do you think, JP?
Fun for Halloween. I would totally give her some sweets when she comes trick or treating. Is this fun? Yeah. Is this drag? There is a wig involved, but. I don't know. It just feels very costumey. And this is for somebody who I think has really, really brought it into the looks. Like she can do glamour, she can do fashion. I just think it wasn't a great week for Ellie, in my opinion. So mute. Like it's not terrible, but it's just okay.
Yeah, I'm mooting it too. It's a borderline boot for me because I know she made this. Ellie's a really good seamstress. This is the second time she's done a chap, and it's not as well executed as the first one, which was her Dennis the Menace dress. To me, it's very butterick pattern. It's just not really interesting, and she's sliding really dramatically for me at this point in the season, and I need her to step it up. So it's a moot for Ellie Diamond. Next up, it's Tia Coffee as Medusa / Voodoo Queen. What do you think?
I'm actually tooting this one. It's funny because like if you look at it from up close, there's a lot of like details that are not quite there. But as a general impression, it does manage to like do the it's make it interesting and fun and kind of creepy and glamorous. It's actually one of the best dresses that we've seen her make. It's really cool. Her waist was very beautifully cinched with all these like shiny materials. So yeah, it's a toot for me.
Yeah, it's a total toot for me too. This is easily the best Tia has looked on this stage. There's no question about that. You nailed it when you said that it's both glamorous and a little bit spooky. And just so our viewers know, JP and Eric love Halloween. I consider them to be like Halloween icons. So it's actually great that you're judging this episode. But like the face makeup, the whole thing to me works. Everything is leading up to a story. And good job, Tia. You are no longer Baroness Basic, where I'm standing. And finally for this week, we have Uhura. What do you think, JP?
I think she was treated very ill by the judges on RuPaul. This is an absolute toot for me. It's actually my favorite. She has spider webs in there. There's like asymmetry. It's very fashiony. It's shiny, it's glamorous, but also very Halloween-y. The Elvira wig was cool, and then what was under it was like even cooler. And there's a lot of attention to detail. And what I think is really cool is that it also just works as like this one thing. It's like one concept that's both glamorous and creepy and fun, and completely within what this queen does, which is to bring kind of fashion into the runway. So yeah, it's a toot.
I'm tooting it too. And here's the thing, this is a great week for Uhura. I've liked her the whole time, but I really thought she kind of grew into a fully fledged queen this week. And if you look at this challenge as what would you send these girls out to a Halloween show to perform in? If she came out in that at a Halloween show and she did that wig reveal, you would be gagging. You would be giving her the dollar bills. I think it's very successful. And I think that the judges were too hard on her. So it's a toot for me as well. With that said, JP, what is your top two of the week?
Top two, I would say Uhura, for the reasons that we just said. I think she's just fantastic and fun and glamorous. And Tia Coffee, she brought it. She brought it this week.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give it to Lawrence just because I hear what you were saying, but I thought the attention to detail was just impeccable here. And she always gives me luscious body on the runway, and I love that. She's really so. I want to thank JP for being my guest host. I hope that you were all going along with us. We're trying a new video platform, and we're figuring it out very much as we go along. Thank you, JP, for being our guinea pig. And thank you for watching. Make sure that you check out our other Drag Race fashion reviews on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing for more content. And check out greatpopculturedebate.com, where you can get our fan pools for UK2 and for season 13, as well as the episode of our podcast, which we're doing an upcoming Best Drag Race looks from season 1 through 6 tomorrow. We're actually recording that, so that'll be up soon. So thank you all very much. We will see you in a bit for the season 13 review. Pip, pip, cheerio.
Cheerio.